What is up and welcome back. We are your Colorado real estate family and we figured it was that time to update you guys on everything about Greeley, Colorado.
Let's go.
If this is your first time watching, Pete Sweeney here with the Land of Bethune, our northern expert. If you are planning on purchasing real estate here in the beautiful state of Colorado, give us a call or text that phone number right below. Right below right there, we always answer. It doesn't matter date or time. But say you're not quite ready to buy that house and you do want to continue to follow along, educate yourself on the Denver metro area. Why don't you do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up, notification bell, almost got them out of order right there. We always make sure to bring you the best information doing these videos for you. First things first, where is Greeley, Colorado? So if you're coming from Denver, pretty much what you can do is you can take I-25 straight north and then get on 34, go straight east, and it'll bring you into downtown Greeley. Another way you can take is if you take I-25 straight north, get off on 76 and then take Highway 85 straight north, which is kind of the back way into Greeley. Both of these options though will run you about an hour, 13 hour, 20 minutes, depending on traffic. Obviously that's gonna change the scenario. There is still road construction, although it is clearing up quite a bit in I-25 going straight north. So I personally prefer taking that Highway 85 portion, plus it's a little bit more scenic, a little bit more farmland that you can see on the way.
And avoiding more of that traffic on I-25.
That's true.
Now, in relation to Fort Collins, Greeley is actually about 40 to 50 minutes away, and we're talking downtown to downtown.
Yep.
And it's kind of interesting. I live here in this area, and I was thinking about it like, really, is it that far? But yeah, if you're driving all the way west on 34, heading north on I-25, and then west again into Fort Collins, it's going to take you just under an hour.
Yep.
Now, when it comes to airports, you've got that regional airport, which is just down in Loveland area, but Greeley to DIA is going to be probably about an hour if you're using your toll roads, which is E470 looping around. But if you head I-25 south and head straight east on Highway 70 or 76 to connect into 70, it's going to be about an hour to hour and 15 minutes either way.
And of course, guys, when there is traffic down there, that can hinder that quite a bit, so it might take you up to 2 hours to get to the airport if you are not accessing that toll. That's why they can charge so much for it, because it's like, why would I want to chance that traffic when I could just pay, an extra, what is it? It's
$10
like $10, and I'll be able to get to the airport much quicker, not having to worry about that traffic.
Now, when we're talking about growth, Greeley, we looked on census.gov. Greeley's looking at 109,209 for population, and that's 0.8% up from 2020.
Yep.
Now, that seems really low, right? Because we've been seeing a lot of movement in Greeley, but Greeley's website is estimating 120,000 by 2026, actually. So that's about a 10% increase.
Yeah, so they're definitely expecting some growth there. I was looking up a few things in regards to development, and they actually increased the amount of building permits that they had compared to Fort Collins. They approved 35% more building permits for residential construction as opposed to Fort Collins. So they are definitely planning for some growth over in Greeley. Third thing that we're going to be covering is that cost of living over in Greeley, Colorado. And what we'd like to do is the cost of living index, where 100 is your national average. Above that, it's more expensive, and obviously if it's below it, it's cheaper than your national average. Overall, where does Greeley stand? Greeley is at a 104.3. If we compare that over to Fort Collins, it's a 116.7. So definitely cheaper than Fort Collins, just a little bit more expensive than the national average.
So same thing goes with food and groceries. So Greeley sits at 98, so just a smidge under national average, and Fort Collins is just a smidge over at 101.1.
Yeah, so not much difference in regards to food and groceries. This is something that we often see where it's like food and groceries is kind of like waivers, a few points here and there. Not that big of a deal. Here is a big deal though, is housing. If we're looking at housing over in Greeley, that cost of living index, it's actually at a 127.8, so definitely above national average. Not as much as Fort Collins though. Fort Collins is a 168, so you're definitely gonna be able to find some cheaper housing over in Greeley, Colorado, as opposed to Fort Collins, Colorado.
With utilities, it's an interesting thing. Greeley happens to be a little bit more expensive than Fort Collins.
Yep.
Greeley is sitting at 99.4, where Fort Collins is at 91.3. So a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, we were actually kind of trying to talk about this a little bit. We're like, why is it that Fort Collins is so much cheaper? We really do not know with the utilities. The only thing I can think of is maybe the water resources that aren't as readily available over in Greeley as opposed to Fort Collins. They might have that water infrastructure in place a little bit more. That might be a contributing factor. Outside of that, we just kind of look at these numbers numbers, knowing that utilities are going to be a little bit cheaper over in Fort Collins as opposed to Greeley, Colorado.
All right, when it comes to housing, your median sales price, we're sitting at $412,000 for Greeley, so quite a bit cheaper than Fort Collins, which comes in at $535,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Fort Collins, it was named like the best spot to live by bestliving.com or one of those websites in 2020. So it definitely did grow. The thing about it though is Fort Collins is actually experiencing a downturn in their growth, where Greeley's up a little bit. It's about the exact same, where I think Fort Collins is down like 0.7%, Greeley's up 0.8%. But yeah, your housing is definitely going to be a little bit more expensive over in Fort Collins. Another big reason for that is every time that we see that people are closer to the mountains, your real estate is going to be a little bit more expensive. That might be why you might be able to get a little bit better bang for your buck over in Greeley as opposed to Fort Collins.
Well, and Greeley has this little bit of a stigma to it too, where it's the agricultural town and you've got a lot of cows out there, so there's like this smelly thing going on that seems to be kind of a big deal. So lately it's really not as big of a deal to people, and we are seeing that growth really expand in Greeley.
Yep. Now the fourth thing that we're going to be talking about in regards to Greeley is the activities that are happening over there. One of them that always pops up is the Greeley Ice House. I think it's house is spelled Haus. I don't know if that's Haas or house or whatever, but apparently it's a great spot that you could go there and watch hockey. Also, we're constantly hearing about Glenmore Park, which is a great spot to pretty much just sit back, relax, and be present. You know, you could take your dog for a walk, just hang out and have a picnic. One of those great spots that a lot of people that are locals in Greeley love to go to.
You also have Island Grove Park, and they do tractor pulls, and the Stampede is there, the Home and Garden Show, so more of the park atmosphere. You can find some of those cool parks there.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like where they have a lot more adventure activities over in that park, as opposed to Glenmore Park, where it's more like sit back, relax, and just hang out. Another thing people love doing over in Greeley is a Crest Cinema and Lounge, where it's pretty much, you know, like cocktails, food, and movies. So one of those spots that you really just sit down, hang out. If you want a cocktail, if you're there with the kids, you know, give them some great food. So you can sit there and enjoy a movie, eat your food, and even cocktail if that's something that you prefer.
Yeah, and there's festivals in Greeley too, right?
Oh, yeah, when we're talking about festivals, they have that annual Greeley Blues Jam over there, and then also in the summertime they have their Friday Fest. They hold it every single Friday, so they just all get together. A lot of these local cities kind of do this, where it's like Fridays in the summertime, let's get all the locals into the town, hang out, get to know each other. They have all kinds of different art, you know, booths, all kinds of different booths that you could go buy local artisans like jewelry and stuff for the kids like toys and all that great things. So
yeah, right now we're doing the trunk or treat and all the Halloween stuff.
Exactly, so something great to kind of look forward to in the summertime over in Greeley. The fifth thing that we want to talk to you guys about is the fact that Greeley is a college town, but not necessarily the college town that you would think of. It's definitely a more quaint type of college town, where you're not going to be having those crazy, super rambunctious parties like you would say over at Fort Collins with CSU or down in Boulder with CU. And they also seem like they incorporate with the community a little bit more. They try to bring the community in to be a part of the community more so than it's just all about that college lifestyle, right?
Yeah, and some of the college kids, I want you to think belt buckles and trucks versus, you know, the typical college kid you usually think, because it's a very agricultural town. So the college piece is definitely toned down a little bit compared to Fort Collins.
Yeah, which is something you might be looking forward to. It's like, I know a lot of you that we do talk to, like, I don't want to be anywhere near a college town. You know what? Give Greeley a second look, because it's definitely not going to be as crazy as what you're thinking as opposed to some of these other college towns that we have here in Colorado.
And I think the community really does a good job in pulling in the different activities that the university does. It's the University of Northern Colorado. So it's a really incorporated, awesome feel. It doesn't really feel like the party town. It's the college town with more of a cultural spin to it.
Yep. All right, cool. Thank you so much, guys. We're glad that we could recap this Greeley, Colorado video. If you do love this video, you love this content, do us a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, maybe give us a thumbs up, little notification bell that we're notified every single time that we put out a brand new video. Also, if you are looking at purchasing real estate here in the beautiful state of Colorado, today more specifically Greeley, give us a call or text that phone number right below. Right below right there, we always answer. It doesn't matter date or time. Until next time, we love you. Bye.
Bye. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh,
geez, bada bing. So you're gonna be finding it. You could.
But more lately, it's really not. I mean, it's.
Another thing people like doing over in downtown Greeley is a Crest.
You're gonna have the annual Greeley's Blues Jam. Why is that a tongue twister? Annual
Greeley Blues Jam.
The annual Greeley Brew. Fuck, this blooper's gonna be so bad.
We are your Colorado real estate family, and we figured it was that time to get up to.
So glad you did that, because my face when you started was not good.
And if you guys are looking at purchasing real estate here in the beautiful state of Colorado, do us a huge favor. Yeah.
Why'd you stop?
I don't know. I was like, what am I saying right now? Which is kind of the back way into which is kind of the back way into Greeley. But here is something that is a big good deal. A big deal.
A big deal.